So I was just trying to connect these two dots about game theory and corruption. Many people who look at any sort of corruption as a vice or some evil things to be done on humanity. But I believe those people who are involved into it, whether they're the top, middle, or bottom of the pyramid, they are not looking it as some sort of evil thing or wise thing or even some harmful or unwholesome thing to do, but rather they look at us if they are involved into a strategic game theory, and it's been implemented, and one fine day the game will be over and they're also ready for that as well. So it's only the poor understanding or the wrong understanding of the phenomenon which is causing trouble across the world. So just to explain it a little bit further, I was just thinking is that how can the same guy who is corrupt in one country can get some sort of VVIP or VIP treatment in another country? So then all these countries are playing a different type of game theory, maybe overlapping with one another, and then they're not ready to call it as a sort of open corruption, even though it might look from one perspective, especially in a developing country. So just think and just let me know if I am thinking in the right direction. Because if there is no universal justice system, if there is no universal justice system which is implemented, although there are many things which are created on piece of paper, or maybe some web designer has created enough content, and that's how some of these international justice systems are working, is that they are mostly there on paper, or maybe they are existing for some sort of providing jobs to few of the web designers and web developer could be. But in reality, do you think that the corruption can exist if the multiple international powers, or multiple, I would say, rather those people who are behind the screen, they don't take a sort of a subjective corruption which is perceived in a particular locality, or let us say province, and then they play strategic games, taking from the game theory book, and then try to understand how could they optimize their own benefit, and at the same time they also justify that how whatever they are doing is not in wrong in nature. So how can it be possible if something is wrong in my 400 or 4000 kilometer periphery, and then when I cross the periphery the same thing becomes illegal again? So I feel if these things are very subjective in nature and there is no objective things, then corruption is basically just a applied game theory in a real basis. So please let me know your thoughts, what you think about it. And another part of is that we know always the bottom of the pyramid is bigger than the top of the pyramid, and it's the bottom of the pyramid who are tolerating any sort of things because they also wanted to optimize the benefit. It's almost like we all know that in a newspaper it's quite there that it has been mentioned even at a quite high level that we know that road transport and other places we have corruptions, or different other places where corruption is quite rampant. But despite that, it is the bottom of the pyramid who are again playing another kind of game theory, rather than even escalating it through a proper channel. Is because the bottom of the pyramid sometimes benefits from that applied game theory which we self suitably, or we try to suit our own interest, and then we call it corruption whenever the things are not in our favor. So what do you think is that should be the solution for this?